This is a story about love. A love story.
Oh, how you guys doing today? Oh, yeah. Eric and Brad show back, episode 37. Is that correct? You got that right, Brad?
That's
Is
correct.
that right back here?
Yes.
Change it? You're on top of it. You're on top of it. The music was a little loud last week. We're gonna chill her down a little bit so we can hear Brad. How you doing, Brad?
Good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. I love the shades. They match the... We got good vibes going this morning. How you guys all doing? Are we having a good day? Is it a good day? It's a new year. It's 2021. It's been... We haven't done an episode since last year.
I know.
Now it's this year.
Haven't seen you since last year.
I know. We probably could fit... How many shitty year jokes do you think we could fit in one episode?
Oh, I have no idea.
I bet we could fit a few more in. Run from the trees! Oh, yeah!
Hopefully
Okay,
the minds weren't dyslexic and said 2012 instead of 2021, and it's actually this year that it's going to end.
It might be. Isn't that like this could be like the argument of have we talked about this? How some people don't think the decade starts until now, or isn't that how it works?
I have no idea.
You get what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about? Some people thinking
It starts at 0. It goes from 0 to 9.
Yeah, and a lot of people say no, it doesn't start till 1 until it goes from 1 till 0 or whatever. Right?
Yeah.
Is that the argument? Yeah.
I don't know. Is the music still playing?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Hey, baby. Okay, we'll fade her out. Fade her out.
Get up.
How are we doing
stand up.
today?
Good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic.
Today's episode brought to you by Twisted Tea.
Whoa, I didn't even notice that.
It's so good, it's like a smack to the face.
Wait, you're drinking? Should I go get a beer?
I don't know.
Oh my God. I see how we're starting today. I got a cup of coffee. Brad's hitting it hard.
I think it's
We
a
got
little
a New
early.
Year's resolution?
No.
Is that what's happening right now?
No. Didn't you see that video of the guy getting hit with the Twisted Tea?
I did.
Yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up. I know we don't do like clips on the show, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Which I kind of wish we did, did more clip action. That seems to be what a lot of podcasters are doing. But yeah, I saw that. That was nuts. The white dude. I think that they were in were they in Philly or something? I can't remember.
Oh,
I don't know.
that makes I don't know where they were, but that would make sense.
I think they're in Philly. One of the videos I watched, it says where they're from. Yeah, and this white kid. I don't think the video shows him saying it, but I think it says it in the title or something like that. Like white kid says the N-word or something like that.
Oh yeah, I heard him say it.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just saw the ass end of the video or something like that.
Yeah.
But then he's just like, "What, man? Like what? Yeah, blah blah." And this black dude's just staring at him, and he has his big ass Twisted Tea, and just bam.
Twisted Tea stock is up. That you should have invested in that 2 weeks ago.
Did you see the video they did of that where they fucking dubbed that into the Dave Matthews Band song?
Yeah.
It was so good.
Bam,
Yeah.
bam, bam, bam.
Dun, dun.
I don't like Dave Matthews.
What did you just fucking say?
Yeah.
You don't like Dave Matthews?
No.
Who doesn't like Dave Matthews?
A lot of people. You either love him or you hate him, I guess.
Fucking Kanye West loving motherfuckers.
Sorry.
Dude, Dave Matthews is the shit. Who the fuck? Why? Like, what is wrong with Dave Matthews? It's great music.
I just hear the music and I'm like, this is not that good.
It is that good. What are you talking about? They play with like Victor Wooten and shit. Like, what are you?
I've only heard what's on the radio.
It's good.
Yeah, I don't know.
People in every direction. Do, 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 do. It's fucking great. I went to a Dave Matthews. Oh, you want to hear a good story?
Sure.
when I was 19, my parents bought me for a birthday present or something like that. They bought me tickets plus like a friend's ticket to go to Dave Matthews
Where at? The Gorge?
at the Gorge.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so me, Anthony, and my girlfriend all jumped in my caddy and drove to the fucking Gorge. Now, mind you, this is like 08, 09, 08 or something like that.
I love the Gorge.
And if you can just wrap your mind around that, like weed wasn't legal at this time. You know what I mean?
So
Anyway.
I went to the Gorge the year that weed became legal in Washington, or the year after that, or something like that. There was a shitload of it.
Yeah. So we drive all the way to the Gorge, you know, and we were late too. And I passed a cop I was doing 120 miles an hour when I passed the cop coming out of Spokane. And it was crazy because I passed the truck in the right-hand lane, and I could see the cop underneath the truck. I passed him at the perfect fucking time. The cop was in the center of the freeway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, that was just a crazy thing that happened during that
Damn.
trip as I passed the cop doing 120, didn't get a ticket for it.
Wow.
But anyways, we get there, and we're like all, you know, jazzed, and then we get there, and there's like, dude, there's people selling bongs like everywhere. You know what I mean? And we're like, oh my God, we're so enamored by all this paraphernalia being sold all over the place.
Yeah.
We just went and bought a bunch of paraphernalia, and then you're gonna be like, you're a douche, and yeah, this is real dumb. But we ended up selling our tickets at the fucking.
God.
we scalped our tickets there, and then just partied in the parking lot the whole time, and fucking smoked a bunch of weed, and then just woke up and drove back. Never saw Dave Matthews. We heard it in the background, like happening, but we just hung out and got trashed.
That's weird.
I was pretty mad. At myself. But then, you know, once I got back, I was like, damn it, I wanted to see Dave Matthews.
Oh God, that's weird.
What I want to know is who goes to the Gorge to scalp tickets? Like to buy scalp tickets. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna make the drive all the way out there just on the off chance that you might get a ticket in a sold out show.
Yeah. I bought some dude's fucking mixtape there because he was hustling. He was like trying to sell his album, and he had a bunch of them.
You were at a rap concert, weren't you?
Yeah. And he's
Yeah,
like,
of course you were.
and because it's a lot of people from Seattle go there, so it was like actually some sketchy figures were there. And this guy is just like, here, you should buy it here, man. Like, buy my CD, man. Buy my CD. And he's like, just give me, $5, $10, whatever you can. And I just gave him $10. And it was like, wasn't very good.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't.
Yeah. But he was hustling. He was out there hustling.
Yeah.
Grinding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That shit'll happen. And those Seattle people are hustlers. I was walking down the street once in Seattle, and this dude was walking down with a bunch of groceries. Me and my girlfriend, it's like, I don't know, 11 o'clock at night. And he's this fucking 6'3" fucking black dude. And he's walking, he's trying to sell us shit out of these grocery bags. He's like, you want some lotion? I got some hair, and he's just pulling random items out of this bag. And he's like, you guys want to buy this? We're like, no, man, we're good. He's like, I got some hair care products.
I saw Ice Cube at the Gorge.
That was the show you're talking about?
There was a lot of people there. It was a festival. But he was the main act. It was so good. It was.
Yeah.
I went there and I was like, reading all the names. I'm like, Ice Cube is going to, whatever. But then that turned out to be easily the greatest concert I've ever seen. It was so good.
Why?
He was just professional, just like knew how to perform, like a serious professional veteran performer that just put on an excellent show and just had so many hits that I didn't even remember. And the hits just kept coming and coming. And I was like, fuck, so good. It was great.
Yeah, I mean, isn't he responsible for like all the fucking NWA hits? Like, really, isn't he like?
Oh yeah, he wrote all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he play NWA music or?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
It was great. It was fucking really good. The Gorge is beautiful, and the sun's going down, the wind's coming up the hill.
Yeah. The Gorge is a dope ass place to see music.
Yeah, it is. It's magical.
I can't decide. Some places, it's hard to decide what the best place to see a band is. I guess it depends on the band, because like, There's something to
Yeah.
be said about like an intimate venue. I would way rather see bands and like there's this place here in Portland. Dude, if you ever get a chance to like drive here and go see a show,
I've been
I
there
would
to see a show.
well, no, this specific place. There's a place called the
Oh.
Wonder Ballroom,
Uh-huh.
not the Crystal Ballroom. The Crystal Ballroom's like the main place downtown.
Uh-huh.
It's a McMiniman's place. But there's this place called the Wonder Ballroom it's an old fucking church, and they've converted it into
Nice.
a venue. And
Yeah.
it's fucking dope, dude. It's so cool. So you like walk in and it's just like a church to where you like walk in and you're in like a little mudroom type situation, and then you walk into a main room. You know what I mean? And there's like a stage up front. But then there's 2 staircases like in the middle of the room that go downstairs, and then it's a full bar underneath. So like right underneath the venue is a full bar underneath
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
And fucking, dude, it's just fucking such a good. I saw Streetlight Manifesto there, and it was fucking out of control. It was and yeah, it was only, they could only fit like 1,000 people, maybe like 800 people. Like
Yeah.
it was cramped. It was fucking packed in there. And like, if I would have saw them at a fucking outdoor venue, it wouldn't have been the same. It was just so intimate and fucking rocky.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. Bring back
But then the
live
gorge
music.
is beautiful.
It's
It's
beautiful.
absolutely gorgeous. And it is cool. That parking lot can turn into something special. Tell you what, I've had a lot of good memories in that parking lot. Like,
Yeah.
there's usually parties that break out in that parking lot, and it's
Yeah.
fucking
There's huge parties.
yeah. I've seen a few fights in those. I've seen some fights break out there. I've seen some good times. Yeah.
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 Go to a fucking hip hop festival there. I think a bunch of people came from Seattle just to party, just like you fucks, and didn't actually go to the show. They were just there to sell
Dude,
drugs.
that's what I'm saying. Is
They're
when
just there to sell drugs.
When we were at the Dave Matthews concert, there was a lot of people just that never went
Yeah.
to the show.
Yeah.
That just were hanging out in the parking lot. So it wasn't like the weirdest thing to do. I mean, it went from it dropped down to 10%. Like there wasn't that many.
Yeah.
But like at the
still.
Dave Matthews, it was intense because like all these kids, it's a college kid band. All these like
Yeah.
college kids came in and they'd have like RVs, and then
Yeah.
they'd lift couches and put them up on top of the RVs, and they'd get like a TV setup going on, and they'd be like watching fucking football and shit, like hanging
Yeah.
out on top of their RV with a keg and shit. It was pretty
God.
legit.
That's craziness.
It is craziness.
People
episode-
people handing out Jolly Ranchers and stuff at the show. It was a good time.
I've always wanted to go there and sell cigarettes because fucking cigarettes are like $15 a pack there.
Yeah.
You could go there and make bank on some cigarettes. Especially if you came out of Washington, because Washington is like $10 a pack right now, like just
Yeah.
at a regular store.
Yeah. Go sell
Okay.
some Lucy's. So 2021, woohoo! Bitcoin at 32,000 today, all-time high. Swedish medical center in Colorado had one of the first babies in 2021. Gia Elise Barkis dash Gray was born at 12 o'clock and 6 seconds a.m., weighing 3 pounds 10 ounces. First baby in the United States in 2021. Harlow Rose Huntington was born in Tennessee at 12:02. So late. Harlow Huntington. You missed it by over a fucking minute and a half. Enjoy second place. According to Chinese astrology, 2021 is the year of the ox and OX. And it's believed to be a good year to have a child. Children born during the year of the ox are meticulous, patient, hardworking, and have an affinity for routine. They are stable, balanced, trustworthy, modest individuals that base themselves on logic and are introverts. They are conservative, respect tradition, are natural leaders, efficient, and enjoy prioritizing tasks. So, boom, Gia Barkis Gray, 12 o'clock and 6 seconds. First baby of 2021. Welcome, baby.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Year of
When's
the
your
ox.
baby? When's your baby coming? May?
June. It's gonna hopefully be a Gemini like Daddy.
Oh, Jesus. Nice.
Yeah.
2020.
So, you want to hear what Daddy did?
What'd you do?
I did something real dumb. This is
Oh God.
yeah, this is pretty bad. This was me being a drunk lunatic, and I'm not going to deny or confirm any of the allegations made during this speech.
Okay.
I didn't do this, and I did not do this. I didn't do it. That's for sure. Daddy didn't do this. This isn't an admission of guilt. Anyone listening to this, but
Okay.
I got pretty drunk on New Year's. You know what I mean? Like,
Did you
real
get drunk last night?
No. I just had like
Okay.
a beer last night. But I got drunk, and we're just sitting at home, and I'm like, this is dumb. And we live in like suburbia, you know? We live like in the middle of everything suburbia in Beaverton.
Off.
Yeah, we might be deleting that section of this episode.
It's just a dream.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like that being recorded.
What did you think it was? A fucking ticket?
I thought it was. I didn't know if it was a felony or not. I thought it might just be a misdemeanor.
I don't know. That's a crazy misdemeanor.
Yeah, I guess when you say it out loud, yeah, it's definitely not a misdemeanor.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
That Andre Chikatilo video passed 1,000. Woohoo! Yes.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it did.
Nice.
Finally,
That's fantastic news.
1,000.
That's awesome. I'm all worried now about that past little segment. I'm freaking out about it.
Well, I don't know. Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows?
It's just a dream.
I'm pretty sure I'm gonna cancel that section out.
That's
I
up
don't
to you,
think
man.
Yeah. Sorry if
okay.
everything was just really confusing, but I don't know if I want that recorded and on the internet.
Yeah. That's up to you.
Yeah. You have any New Year's traditions?
No.
Not at all?
Mm-mm.
Because I've learned a few, and I didn't know about a bunch. Do you know all the weird ones?
Well, I saw the one that was saying don't do laundry on the 1st. And that made me think, oh, I should do some laundry. And then I started to think, okay, now I'm not going to do it. So I didn't do it.
Yeah. Someone's going to die in your family or something like that is what?
Yeah. I wasn't going to do it anyway,
laundry?
but just reading that made me think I should do some. And then I ended up not doing it because
We
of
did
that.
so much laundry yesterday.
Oh, God.
All kinds of laundry.
Well, the scary thing is then you start thinking, well, what if my other family members are doing laundry? Because if they're doing laundry, maybe I'm the one that's going to die.
Yeah. So you got to call your family and be like, don't you fucking do any laundry.
Yeah,
You
don't
turn that
press
washing
start.
machine off.
Yeah. I've never
Yeah,
heard that,
but-
though, before until this year.
Yeah, I hadn't heard of any of these. There's like a bunch of them. And then I was talking to this Mexican kid I work with, and he was explaining that Mexicans do 12 grapes at midnight as the clock chimes. They eat a grape every time the clock chimes at midnight. So 12 grapes. And it's supposed to signify each month of the next year to come.
Mhm.
And each grape is like bringing good luck to that. And then also they believe, dude, I guess like talking to this kid is Mexicans are insanely superstitious. Like
Yeah.
it's part of their like, they're just, everything's a superstition.
Yeah.
And fucking, and then also what you do, like what you're doing, I think it's when the clock strikes midnight, whatever you're doing or the situation you're in is like a precursor to what's going to come for the next year. So it's like if you're doing good and having fun, that's going to be, I don't know. And then there's something to do with money too. You're supposed to do something. I've forgotten all of them. Supposed to do something, and then that's supposed to bring you money and wealth throughout the year. And I don't know, all these things I'd never even heard about. I've always, I don't know, maybe it's just a white person thing to have a glass of champagne and just, hey, and then you drink and then you go
Yeah,
to
and
bed.
kiss somebody.
That's that. And then you kiss someone. Yeah.
That's probably the biggest one,
Yeah.
which is probably just brought on by movies. People just follow that because of movies,
Probably.
I guess.
Probably.
I guess
weird to, go ahead.
to do the grapes one, you would need a clock that chimes on the hour.
Yeah, and I guess like they have it like set up.
Yeah.
Like they count everybody in the party They have 12 grapes exactly set on a plate, and they
Yeah.
hand it all out. And everyone gets ready, and you got to eat them fast because you got to go each chime. You know,
Boom, boom.
yeah, yeah.
Fuck, maybe I need
You
to
got to
start
finish
doing
all
that.
the grapes.
Yeah, maybe I need to start doing that. Maybe that's why I haven't had the best years or whatever. Need to have better years. Got to get some goddamn grapes for next
Got to
year.
get some grapes in that shit, B. So we had I didn't work Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, today's Saturday. But it has nothing to do with the fucking New Year's. Had another goddamn COVID outbreak in the goddamn company.
Oh,
So they just like, okay, no work.
really?
So dumb. So dumb.
So you would have been working.
I would have been working.
Did you have to get tested again?
No, it was stupid because it was someone, on our job site, we only have like 6 people.
Yeah.
And someone out of those 6 people, their fucking parents got it.
Oh.
And they're like, and their parents are like kind of not part of the company, but it's kind of a lot of my company's family. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? A lot of companies are like that to where a guy gets in and then he brings in his nephew and you know what I mean? It's like that. And so the kid I'm working with, his parents are known in the company. And since they got it, another dude in the company that's like higher up is like, oh, fucking shut this shit down. You could have it. And then so he went and got tested. He was negative, the kid that's on our job site. So they're just like, okay, well, never mind. We'll go back to work on Monday. God damn it. It's the second time this has happened. Yeah.
Goddamn COVID.
Goddamn COVID. At least they got the Pfizer fucking, Pfizer coming out.
Yeah, and where's my goddamn second stimulus check?
Oh, yeah, Daddy got mine. We just talked about this. Fucking Daddy got, but I'm getting screwed. I only got 326 or some shit like that.
Well,
It's a bunch of bullshit. Bunch of bullshit. I want my other $250 fucking dollars.
I don't even want it. But the thing is, if they're gonna send it, then fucking just give it to me anyway. If you're gonna force me to take it, if you're gonna shove it down my throat, then I'll just take it. But they're just gonna want you to pay it. You're just putting the burden on the next generation to pay it back in probably like quadruple. I'm kind of anti-stimulus checks. It's too much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if isn't it like if they give everybody $1, wouldn't that be $300 million? So by giving everybody,
and this stimulus bill is like trillions of dollars.
that's just too much money. That's fucking crazy.
Isn't it? Maybe I'm high. I don't remember. I don't pay attention to anything.
Yeah, I know. Trillions is too much money. You can't even wrap your mind around it. And
Trump signature time. President Trump's signature Sunday on the $2.3 trillion COVID-19 relief and government funding bill.
that's a lot of money.
$2.3 trillion. Aren't we in debt like $7 trillion or something like that?
It's more
How are
than
we
that.
spending $2.3 trillion?
Yeah, it's so much money. And it's just like, it's weird because people are like, they're just printing money. It's like, well, they're not printing money. All they do is just go backspace, all they do is put zeros in a computer. 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Boom.
Yeah.
And there's
How
money.
much are we worth today? 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's how much money we got. Okay.
Yeah. It's too much. And you know what's also kind of weird is I keep seeing these posts from people that say like Jeff Bezos has this much money that equals out to 5,000 per American or something like that. And it's like, why would you even, or it's like that equals out to like $60,000 per Amazon worker. And I just see a lot of posts like that, and it's like, why are you dividing up his money to Amazon workers? Like, how does that even make any sense? Like for some reason he owes every Amazon worker $60,000. I don't know. I see a lot of things like that. I don't like it.
No, that shit.
It's stupid.
Yeah. Well, you're not allowed to be rich anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Without being evil in this country, which is just ridiculous. I mean, it's just a socialist kind of mindset. Is no one's allowed to, be above anybody else.
Yeah.
And I don't know. The whole thing irritates me because it's like, I don't know. At the beginning of this pandemic, a bunch of people are just like, you're going to fuck small businesses. You're going to fuck small businesses. Pandemic starts. Jeff Bezos makes fucking ridiculous amounts of money, and then they're like, "Well, fuck Jeff Bezos." It's like,
Yeah.
like we were trying to say this fucking a year ago. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, fucking, this is what's gonna happen. You know, not necessarily Amazon's gonna make a bunch of money, but you're gonna fuck all these small businesses. That's exactly what's happened. And now Jeff Bezos is the bad guy. It's like, you guys did this. Jeff Bezos didn't do it. You know what I mean? He just offered a fucking product. You all bought it. Like,
Yeah.
it's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's not his fault. You don't have
true.
to buy his shit. You don't
No, you
have to go to Walmart. If you didn't go to Walmart, if everyone stopped going to Walmart, guess what would happen? Walmart would fucking close. Then
Yeah.
you could stop bitching about how evil fucking Walmart is.
Yeah.
It's not Walmart's fault. You know what I mean? It's not the Walton family's fault.
No,
I don't know. That
You're
shit
ordering off
irritates me.
Amazon.
Yeah, you're ordering it.
I order a ton off Amazon.
Yeah.
Are you still recording?
Yeah,
Okay.
Still recording. We're doing we're doing record checks randomly on the show now.
Record check. Oh, so do you know about rotary? You know what a rotary phone is? I don't even have any notes on this. That's just gonna be off memory. Yeah, you like put your finger. I've never used one, but you like put your finger in a number and then scroll the thing. It's like an iPod. It's like the wheel on an iPod.
Fucking G or fucking Generation X or whatever you are, Gen Z.
Yeah, it's like the wheel on an iPod almost. And for our
Never used one of those?
for our young listeners, an iPod is something we used to carry music on. But you'd like put your finger on this wheel and move it around to go to each number on the phone, right?
Yeah. There was something satisfying about those iPods that did that. I missed that feeling.
Yeah, it is satisfying. I have an iPod right here that nobody uses. Do you know those rotary phones work without power? You can call people. When people had them in their homes, they didn't plug them into an outlet or anything like that. It was just into the phone jack.
And the phone jack supplied the power for the phone?
Yeah, but it's supplied. It requires such a small amount of power. It's like almost next to zero. So there's copper wiring wired to everyone's homes into that phone jack underground, like dual copper wires, and they're ran to the phone company, and the phone company supplies the power to those phones. They require such a small little amount and it's ran through that copper wiring. So in the case of a power outage, like in your house, you could still use the phone. And the phone company office.
I remember that. Actually, I remember that. I remember being a kid and the power would go out and you could still call people.
Crazy. And the phone company would also has like battery banks in there to supply people, and they also have generators. So I mean, I guess eventually that could possibly run out, but it requires such little tiny amount of power that it like won't run out. But it doesn't require power, which is kind of cool, I thought. So, and also people, before 1980, people used to rent those rotary phones in their houses. So, like, everyone's phone was the same because the phone company would just issue out the rotary phones and they'd give the same one to everybody. And it cost like between $1.50 to $5 to rent your phone in your house. And if you stopped paying, they would come to people's houses and be like, "Give us your fucking phone back because you're not paying your bill." It's like they'd repo people's phones that didn't pay, and which is kind of crazy. That's almost crazier than the power thing. And before 1983, AT&T had a monopoly on the home phone market in the United States. It was like AT&T or nothing. That's the only place you could rent a rotary phone from, and they wouldn't let you purchase it. You could only rent it. And in 1983, the U.S. government was like, enough of this. We're breaking up this monopoly. You're not allowed to just tell people they can only rent their phones and stuff like that. So then after 1983, AT&T had to let people purchase their phones. But yeah, that's just pretty crazy stuff that I heard this week. Yeah, that I heard on a show.
That is interesting. I never heard it. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you could still buy one today and plug it in at your house and use the phone in a power outage, you know?
Yeah, well, what's weird now is most If you go to get a landline now, because I had one like a few years ago. It was so crazy.
That's
to
crazy.
go buy a fucking landline phone. It was like, it never rang. Not one time. We had it for a solid year, and it never was used. It was not used one fucking time, but it was hooked up. It worked.
Huh.
Fucking, but now it's all ran through your fucking internet. You don't even do it the old school way. You know what I mean? In most cases, because it just plugs right into my fucking router and my fucking, you get something from Comcast, Xfinity, and it has your Ethernet cables on the back, but it also has phone jacks on the back.
Yeah.
And they're always trying to push the phone for some fucking reason.
Yeah.
You're like, you'll get fucking TV, internet, and phone.
And phone.
It's like, who the fuck still wants phone? Like, it's so weird.
Wait, you couldn't just plug it into the phone jack in the wall?
No, you did it through the router. You did it through your internet. Was how it was. I have, obviously my house is 100 years old. We have fucking old jacks all over the place, phone jacks.
Yeah.
But they're not being used.
I think some of them are still being used though.
Well, no. I'm just saying I'm not using them.
Right.
I'm sure I could make it work. Like,
yeah.
I'm assuming. Or maybe get little batteries and I could steal the little amount of power they're supplying through there and just fill tiny little batteries up. Huh?
I don't know if you can do that. And then I watched a video that was, because I saw on some website it said that rotary phones had a higher fidelity for sound or whatever. And I was like, So I looked it up, and then someone compared an iPhone 5 sound quality with a rotary phone sound quality, and they were pretty much identical. It was weird.
That's pretty cray-cray.
Yeah. And because when I saw it said like they have a higher fidelity for sound or whatever, I'm like, oh, that kind of makes sense. The analog device might sound better than a phone. But then someone compared it and was like, no, they pretty much sound the same. Exactly the same.
But that's still a pretty incredible feat, though, that we've gone, 50 years of technology and it's still the same sound quality.
Sound quality, yeah, for phone call.
Yeah.
Fucking weird.
Why are phone calls such shitty sound quality? I still don't. I kind of understand that. Like, why?
I don't know.
Why aren't people working on that? Like, it's like not a big deal. You'd think it'd be a big deal. Well, yeah, but I mean, fuck. They focus on everything else. They got 10 cameras on a fucking phone now.
Yeah.
But they still haven't tried to tackle the fucking sound quality problem.
I know. We need better sound quality. These are our demands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're done.
I don't even want you to call me.
Oh, that's right. You don't even. That's why it's not a big deal. Everyone's like, dude, I don't even want to take the speaker out of the phone. I don't want to hear people come out of my phone.
Right.
But pretty soon, people are just gonna go back to fucking. I
need a better keyboard.
What do you call those things? Fucking text
beepers.
Things. God damn.
Pagers.
Yeah, like pagers. Yeah, that's what you need. Just get a pager, bud.
Fuck yeah.
Be like, I can't call you. I just have a pager. Like, you have to text me.
Just
I can't receive the phone call.
Just keep asking people, can I use your phone? Why? I have to make a phone call.
I got my fucking beeper, man.
Yeah,
do you remember people having those?
I remember my dad having one.
Did he?
Yeah.
They were fucking all the rage in the late 90s. God damn. That was a sign of class if you had a fucking pager.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. He's got a fucking pager, B.
Mm-hmm. Just pulling it out at dinner or a meeting and just checking it. Oh, I got to make a phone call.
Yeah. Or the fucking brick phone. Fuck that brick phone. You were a bad motherfucker if you had that brick phone. That shit was dope. Dope, son.
That was probably worse sound quality than a fucking rotary phone. I never used one,
seen
but
one of those.
It's basically like you're making a call like in the middle, like in the trenches in the middle of a battlefield.
Yeah.
With that thing. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. I got a crazy one. I don't know if you heard about this. Let's see if... I got some... I hope you haven't heard about this. You probably have. You hear about everything.
No, I don't.
See. You do. You're gonna know about this. I didn't know about this. I'm sure maybe I'm the only one. So I got a little bit of reading to do. You ready?
Perfect. Yeah.
4 years ago, 15-year-old Mimi Groves Do you know the story yet?
No.
Mimi Groves? Okay. 4 years ago, 15-year-old Mimi Groves, then a freshman at Heritage High School in Virginia, was excited to get her learner's permit. After receiving it, she sent her friends a 3-second Snapchat video in which she said, "I can drive," N-word. Somehow, the video circulated among a few students at the school. It survived for years, and last year, Jimmy Galligan, who was a senior along with Groves at Heritage, ended up seeing it. Galligan, whose mother is black and whose father is white, said that he was offended by the video. Instead of explaining the issue with the girl using the slur to Groves herself, Galligan held on to the video and waited until he could use it against Groves to destroy her. Typically, such an act would be seen as bullying, but in today's pro-cancel culture society, Galligan received a New York Times profile, and the story presented from a point of view, along with a headline favoring his actions. A racial slur, a viral video, and a reckoning, reads the Timeline headline about Galligan's act. The reckoning refers to what Groves endured at the hands of Galligan. Groves had been accepted to the University of Tennessee and was sent to join the school's cheer team, which at the time was reigning national champion. When Galligan posted the video of Groves online, it went viral. She lost her position on the cheer team and was forced to withdraw from the university after facing pressure from administration's officials. The officials apparently told her they received hundreds of emails and phone calls from outraged alumni, students, and public, the Times reported. Groves told Times that she didn't understand the severity of the word or the history and the context behind it because she was so young. She told the outlet that the slur was used in all the songs she listened to, and I'm not using that as an excuse. It honestly disgusts me that those words came out of my mouth, Groves told the Times. How can you convince someone that you've never met that you? How can you convince somebody that you have never met you and the only thing they've ever seen is just this 3-second clip? Groves also said her parents didn't allow her to use such language. Blah 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 blah. You get the gist of what happened there. But how do you feel about that story? Like, isn't that crazy? Isn't that kind of fucked up? Like, I mean, I get it, but it's also like, dude, bro, you're going to hold on to a fucking clip? Like, like, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
He gets this clip when she's a freshman, and he holds on to it for fucking 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then fucking post it once she gets accepted to fucking university attend. So there has to be more backstory that we're not fucking hearing here. Like, you know what I mean? Or maybe not. Maybe this guy's just a fucking asshole. That's just like, doesn't really know this girl. And it's just like, I'm going to ruin this bitch's life. You know what I mean? Like fucking, isn't that crazy though? That he just holds on to this video for that long and then fucking post it like at the right time to just destroy this girl's life. She gets kicked out of college and kicked out of a cheer team.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, they shouldn't have kicked her out.
Is it like, you know me, as far as I think people bitching about words is just fucking silly. Like,
Yeah.
I think the whole idea behind being offended by words is just giving weight to words.
Yeah.
Being offended by the N-word is making the N-word a more powerful fucking word. The more you fight the word, the more powerful it is. It's like how every other slur word, no one gives a shit about. You know what I mean? Like, no one cares about any slur word because no one's offended by the slur word. They're just like, okay. You know what I mean? If you say wop or guinea or anything like that, people are like, okay, honky, anything like that. No one gives a fuck. You put so much weight on a word that now it is offensive if you say it because you're all freaking, like, literally if no one gave a shit about the word, it would, if you used it in an offensive way, it wouldn't have any fucking weight to it. I just think being offended by words is just silly. It's very childish. Like, take yourself out of all what you know about American history, art, not even just world history in general with slavery. Fucking take your whole step out of that whole thing. Let's say we fucking came in contact with an alien race, and you're like, you're learning all about this alien race, and then you're like, and then a word is said, and they all freak the fuck out, and they like chastise another alien, you'd be like, I don't even understand. You'd be like, you just said this fucking word and you're all like that. You'd be like, this is childish. Aren't you guys like a supreme race? Like, why are you guys all offended by a fucking word? It seems childish if you really think about it. It's just a childish mindset to be offended by a word. Like, I'm not saying that slavery is all right or anything like that. Like, that's not what I'm getting at. I'm saying the word is so fucking, it's ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. There's so much weight on it. It's ridiculous.
But you're saying that that's okay if the intent is wrong. You're saying it should be about intent with the word.
No,
like
I'm
if
saying,
you're saying like I want to kill you.
Even if I get that white people didn't go through what black people went through, so saying like, "Hey, you fucking honky piece of shit," doesn't really hold any weight. But if you treated the N-word the same fucking way.
Yeah, but that's not.
Then that's exactly how everyone would fucking react to it. You said, "Hey,
right,
honky," they'd be like, "Okay, like what are we doing here?" You know what I mean? Right. It's like, words shouldn't have fucking offend people. To me, it's just a childish, and it's a fucking no-brainer situation. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, they shouldn't. But I'm okay with that word not being allowed. I'm okay with it.
I disagree.
I'm okay.
But whatever. I know I'm completely, it's never going to, this argument is never going to be,
never
take hold. It's just fucking retarded. And I just, can you see the child in it? Like how it's,
well,
childish?
Yeah, I mean,
like
well,
it's just a childish idea.
For an adult to be offended by a word is a crazy thing. It's a crazy thing. It just doesn't make any sense.
Do you remember,
but I'm okay with that word being bad.
I had a fucking crazy situation when I was in high school. So me and Ren Spragans were in a fucking class. We had an English class together. That like one of the only black kids in our fucking high school. And we were all arguing with an English teacher over the severity of fucking words. And it was so funny. Dude, and fucking the teacher said that word out loud in class. Like fucking... Because we were getting all heated, and everyone's all heated in the class, and they're like, words don't hold weight. And he's like, yeah, they do. And he's like, and we're like, no, they don't. And then he's like, I could say a word right now to make all you guys shut the fuck up. And we're like, blah, blah, blah. And he's just like, N-word. And just like, everyone's like, what the fuck, dude? And like, everyone just silent. And he's like, I told you. And then he went on this whole fucking rant. He's like, back in the 1970s or some shit like that, someone wrote a book, and the headline was Nigger, and the whole idea behind the book was the power of words, and blah 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 blah. It wasn't like a race like nothing to do with race. It was just like that, shock value headline of the fucking.
Look, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it used to be said a lot more in my lifetime than it is now, and I'm okay if they're like, look, don't say it, then I'm like, okay, I won't say it. That's not a hill I'm gonna die on. You know what I'm saying?
It's not a hill I'm going to die on. I'm not going to fight for the right to use the word, but I'm also never going to not stop saying that it's fucking retarded that you guys that this is what you, everyone loves to be like, hey, why are we focusing on these fucking dumb issues? It's like, what are you talking about? Everybody on the planet just focuses on dumb fucking issues.
Yeah.
Like, they're wondering why the fucking COVID bill has 5,000 pages. Well, fuck, you guys won't even stop talking about a fucking word. You know what I mean? Like everyone bitching that we're not solving, like, real issues in this country. Well, fucking, yeah, because everyone's up in arms about a fucking 14-year-old girl saying the N-word in a Snapchat video. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, of course we're not getting anything done in this country. Like, guys are fucking focused on the dumbest of shit. We got to be all just and fucking make sure no one's feelings get hurt before we continue. Well, of course we're in a fucked situation as a country. You know what I mean? When the headlines are all about Bruce Jenner and fucking, you know what I mean? It's like, this is crazy talk. Why do we even talk? Why do we even know about Caitlyn Jenner? You know what I mean? Like, what? I didn't even know, like, people in my generation had no fucking idea who Bruce Jenner was.
Right.
You know what I mean? We weren't alive when Bruce Jenner was running fucking, whatever fucking event he ran in. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, now we all know who this is. This is ridiculous. Ridiculous that we know who this is.
He was a fucking badass dude for what he did.
Well, yeah, I guess that's what I've been told. But again, we were not alive when any of this happened.
No, we
you
weren't.
know what I mean? Like that
we
wasn't
were alive during Caitlyn Jenner.
Yes.
That's our badass. Well, no, with that girl though, that's just that's just crazy because and it's also people are selective about who they're gonna cancel because like Eminem said that word, Justin Bieber said that word. They're not trying to cancel those people. They're just trying to cancel certain people who do it. It's not like a blanket. It's like a selective, I think. If like the CEO at Google says it, they're fucked in the ass for saying that. But and
Yeah.
apparently that girl is too. But then someone who makes like hit music or is like a badass actor, they're not going to cancel them. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, but some people, you remember fucking the first one I can remember is the guy from Seinfeld. You know what I mean? In like
Yeah.
'05 or something like that, '04.
Yeah.
But he like said it like I think the idea there was he said it, he was like pissed.
No, it was
You
like
know what I mean? Like
2011. It was like 2011 or something.
no, I was in high school. I remember. I was definitely in school when that happened. I might have been in. I might have been in fucking. I might have been in the 8th grade when that happened.
Okay.
Definitely wasn't after '07. Definitely wasn't after '07. It was pretty long ago. So I
Well,
mean,
you
that
just
was
said
like
like 04 or something.
yeah, but '07 is when I graduated. So I'm saying it was before
Oh, okay.
'07.
Okay.
So I'm assuming it happened like my sophomore year. Are you looking it up? You want bet?
Yeah, I'm looking it up.
You want to take bets? Pre
It was
'07, after '07?
it was
$10?
it was 06.
Boom! Told you.
Yeah, well that
told
was
you.
just retarded.
Yeah, but that was the first one I can really remember when cancel culture, like,
Yeah.
it was like one of the first cancels.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
What's his name? Did you just see it?
Michael Richards.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No one really knows that guy's name. They just know him as the crazy haired guy off Seinfeld.
Yeah. I don't know. Shouldn't have done that.
It's funny, though. Some people, like, well, I mean, he got canceled, but he got canceled for a totally different thing. But, like, Louis C.K. has that whole bit where he drops it, like, fucking, like, 15 times in the bit.
Yeah.
And it's like, goddamn. Like, you
Well,
know,
and
he
people
wrote
would argue that
whole bit.
Louis C.K. is Mexican or something like that. So people would make that argument that it's okay.
So Mexicans can say it? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I don't know. And yeah, Mexicans can say it, but then they wanted to cancel J-Lo for saying it. She's Puerto Rican. I don't know.
Mexicans can't say it. Mexicans say it more than any. I've worked with a lot of Mexicans, and Mexicans love saying that word.
Yeah.
It is so funny. Like, cancel culture isn't quite the thing in Mexico as it is in fucking America, and they love fucking
Yeah.
being a little risque.
It was pretty. There was one time I was working with my buddy from Ghana, and it was just me and him in the truck, and I was driving because I would always drive, and he was in the passenger seat. And there was this car, and there was this vehicle in front of us that was going way too slow, other than the like way slower than the fucking speed limit. And I'm like, fuck this. I'm like, this fucking guy, dude. And I'm like, I'm gonna pass him. And I pass him, and he was just driving like an idiot. And we pass him, and we both look over at him. And it's some black guy driving, and I pass him, and then Eddie he looks over at me, and he's like, "You want to say it?" He's like, "You could say it," and I'm like, "No." He's like, this is the perfect time. You could say it if you want. I'm like, "No, I'm not gonna say it because I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to bait me into saying it, and then you're gonna tell other people that you heard me say it. So no, I'm not gonna say it." It was funny,
Yeah.
but no,
That is
don't
funny.
say it. It's a fucking terrible word, and I don't care.
Yeah,
I have enough
disagree.
discipline that I have the power. I can remove a word from my vocabulary like that and control it. Like if I'm around certain people, I won't swear. I can like control what comes out of my mouth to a certain extent. So it's easy for me. Boom. But I
Yeah.
get what you're saying. Adults,
I think it's all.
that girl should not have been kicked out of fucking college. I can tell you that. But adults just being offended over words is very silly. I'll agree with that.
I think the whole. I don't know. Anything offended. Anything
I know.
thrown into the offended fucking bubble just pisses me off so fucking bad. And all these like people like the idea of reparations is seriously being passed around in this country. And to me, I know this is a hot button topic. I do not believe black people have any disadvantage versus a white person. I really don't. I just think it's pretty much even across the board. And you can definitely find things, But fuck, there's 250 million people in the country. Of course, you're gonna find like situations to where a white guy has a better shot. You know what I mean? But you're gonna find that
Yeah.
with every person in the world, despite race. You know what I mean? You're gonna find that with women. You're gonna find that with Indian people. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You're never gonna have this perfect fucking world, but it's pretty fucking good. You know what I mean? You can come to America, or you can be in America, and you have a pretty good chance if you work hard, no matter what sex, gender, rate, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
To get that. But then everyone, like, they're seriously talking about reparations. When, dude, I just listened to this whole fucking thing. In 1996, so not that fucking long ago, in Africa, they're fucking general. I just watched listened to this whole thing about General Butt Naked. You ever heard of this guy?
Mm-mm.
Dude, there's crazy shit going on in Africa right fucking now. You know what I mean? Like, right now. Fucking child soldiers. You know what I mean? Like, fucking... Dude, this General Butt Naked. Dude, it's weird. I didn't know anything about this, but I guess African people, like, are obsessed with, like, Hollywood movies, like, figures and shit like that. So they, like, name themselves after, like, they'll be, like, General Rambo and shit like that. Like, it just, these weird tribes of people, but they'll, like, name themselves, like, these crazy names. So there's a guy named General Butt Naked. And, like, all these generals that would, fighting tribes warlords that would, like, come to power. You know what I mean? So this General Butt Naked dude fucking started this child fucking, he took in a bunch of kids, fed them cocaine and shit like that, and they just go around, and he would strip naked when he would, like, go into battle or, like, go take over these villages and shit like that. And he'd just be all fucking high on cocaine and shit and just get naked and go fuck people up with it. And he'd use a machete. All of his kids would have, like, AKs and shit. And he'd come in with a fucking machete. And he just, he was fucking, they said he killed, like 20,000 people or something. Like, just this astronomical number. He's, like, this horrific fucking dude. And, like, this happened in 96. You know what I mean? He's out murdering, taking in slaves and shit like that. And it's like, I don't know. It's just like, we have this shit going on in the world. And you guys want reparations because you fucking heard some 14-year-old girl say the N-word on a Snapchat video. It's like, what are we after, like, racial equality in the world? No, we're not. We're just bitching. You know what I mean? We're just finding dumb shit to bitch about. It's like, this shit's happening. Real world shit. They're taking child soldiers. You know what I mean? In Africa. Right now. Fucking right now. And, like, this is what we want to bitch about the N-word. Like, you think those fucking people care? Not at all. You know what I mean? Like, not at all. When they're getting murdered in the fucking streets every day. And, like, I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, a lot of problems you hear about in the U.S., it's like, clearly you've lost like, things to be mad about. And you're now on this.
You're on a war path to find shit to be mad about.
Yeah, and that's just that might just be human nature. Like, you need a battle, you need an enemy.
Well, and then it's always so weird to me to look back at, like, World War II and the Jews. Like, shouldn't they be the ones bitching the hardest? They're, like, the most recent genocide, like, horrific thing to happen to someone is the genocide of the Jews. And you really don't, you know what I mean? Like, as a group of people, they bitch the least. You know what I mean? Like, they just want their own fucking country. That's it. They're just like, give us our own fucking country. That's all we want. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they're not around on Twitter like, don't you fucking talk about Nazis, you son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, I don't know.
Well, and I don't like the idea of reparations because I don't think that's like an I'm sorry. That's not like a fix, a cure-all for what happened. I don't think that's the answer.
There is no fix. But we didn't do it. They didn't live through it. You know,
a good fix would be to make sure it never happens again.
I get their grandparents probably lived through fucking the civil rights movement and shit like that. I get that. But it's over with. You know what I mean? It's fucking over. What do you want? Like, there is no fix. The money doesn't fix anything. We just need to accept it as history, teach it in history class.
Yeah.
And then that's all you get. That's all
it doesn't
anyone
happen
gets.
Again.
Yes. Like learn about it.
Learn from it, yeah. But there's also, I'd also believe in like genetic DNA things.
Like they can jump higher?
No. Like, oh, yeah, like that. I thought you were talking about the DNA jumping or something. No, like how, like scarring or trauma can be passed on through DNA and things like that. I think that's very real.
You're saying their DNA is infected by hundreds of years of slavery, and then so their DNA is like, is that what you're getting at right now?
Affected.
Like trauma, they're still affected. The trauma is still being affected from their ancestors being enslaved.
Mm-hmm. I think we all have
Okay.
that. We all have that, you know.
Yeah, and
It's
that's
like if you had a
another thing,
scar,
is
like
during this time period when the triangle trade was all going on, fucking, I don't think anybody from 100 years ago backwards, let's say 1945 backwards,
mm-hmm.
no one had a good life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like literally no one throughout history.
Yeah.
No one ever. Like no one ever. So
Well, maybe
it's like
kings.
king, yeah.
Yeah.
The 1%, you know what I mean, had
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
a
yeah,
good
yeah.
life. 99.9% of all fucking people throughout history got shit on.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
everyone got shit on. Everyone. You think peasants in during the Black Plague in Europe like had a good life? No, they were getting shit on.
Yeah, it's brutal.
That's why everyone fucking moved to America. You know what I mean? It was like this idea of a new country. They're like, fuck this country. Literally everyone in the world said, fuck this country.
Yeah.
I'm moving to America to have a better life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Chinese
that's
people
like
were fucking slaves. Like, you never hear about that. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like, everyone had a bad life.
Yeah. No, you hear about some more than others for sure. It's like, say if there's a scar on your body, then say your kid then now has that same scar. But we don't see it, but I think it's there. And
Yeah,
I'm not
it's like
saying something like
they say
reparations
that
is the solution for that. But we
it's
all
the
deal with
idea.
it.
It's the idea of like people are scared of snakes inherently. You know what I mean? They say that's
Yeah.
because it's like passed down from, back in or spiders and shit like that. It's like there's that isn't a learned thing. That's a fucking inherent fear we have.
Yeah, or like your dog, your dog's 8 weeks old or whatever, and it just like knows how to react to things. It knows what to do. It's like, why are you reacting like this? You haven't seen it anywhere. You just react. You're just doing these things.
Yeah.
So we all deal with it, but I definitely think that, and I'm not saying it affects your chance to get a job or to be successful, but I'm saying that's something that's there that I believe is there.
Yeah.
Of a brutal past. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to see 50%
Yeah.
white people in the NBA. That would be fair. 50%. I want Jews. I want Jews to be there, fucking up against LeBron.
Yeah.
So that was that story. We didn't really tackle that story at all. We just got into racial shit. But fucking, I mean, I guess that was the whole point of the story.
Yeah.
But that's pretty shitty. I mean, whatever you want to say, I think when you're 14, that shouldn't ruin, you know what I mean? Like that ruined that girl's life.
Yeah.
Like for something that she did. When I was 14, you know how much dumb shit, you know how glad I am that people weren't recording shit when I was 14. I feel so bad for kids. Like, watch what you fucking record. You know what I mean? Like you're not smart enough at 14 to understand the implications of that shit.
Yeah. No, if you're doing lines, close the blinds.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah,
I see
dog.
crazy. Are you still recording?
Bam,
'Kay.
dog. We're still recording. Record check.
Record check because it just glitched a little. No, it's like the last place I lived in Idaho. I've told this how I lived with a buddy of mine who had 3 sons. One was 2, one was 13, and 2 were 15. Sorry, 4 sons. I'm still friends with these kids online on social media. And to see what they post is just like, oh my God. And it's things that I would have posted or I would have been taken a part of, like them drinking so much that they're just like passed out on the floor, like with their eyes open, but they can't move, and they're like puking, and they're like, he's puking, like filming him, and he's like, blah, blah, and like smoking weed, and I'm like, stop why am I watching this on Instagram stories? Like, stop doing this, stop posting it. It's like,
Yeah,
these
you're
kids,
gonna be in for.
these kids are crazy.
Be in for an interview, and they're gonna be like, so, Is this you smoking weed and puking all over the place? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Fuck.
And like post and so many kids post, you know, I'm not friends with that many fucking kids on the internet, but I'm, you know, like kids like that. And they post and like they'll post like a bag of weed being like $40, hit me up, like per bag for a bag or whatever. And I'm like, oh my God, stop doing that. Like it's still illegal there. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. But look, would I have done that? Maybe. We were all fucking really stupid when we were 15 years old. Really stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's craziness. These kids are dangerous. Getting that
It's
drunk.
dangerous. What do you want to move to? I tried to do a Brad question, but it's kind of hard to find.
Oh, good.
You know what I mean? You obviously landed on something good with the Ask Amy thing because it's all like text. I was trying to find it's hard to find text write-ins, you know, like for podcasts or shit like that because
Yeah.
it's not like transcripted.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Do you want to do an Ask Brad?
Sure.
I'll do better next time because it took me a while to figure out how to get this.
I have to pee really badly.
Okay. Go pee.
Okay, be right back.
Do you want to just take a break real quick? I want to get a cup of coffee. You just hit pause.
Okay, hit pause.
Are you stopping the clip?
You want me to?
Are you just going to keep recording?
I can just keep recording.
Let's just keep recording because it's going to make you fucking
Okay.
download, right? Or like encode
Yeah.
if you hit pause. Yeah,
Yeah.
so we'll just keep recording.
Okay.
I'll just write down the time. 1:04.
Hot in here. Oh, no, it's nasty.
Okay, we are back. Sorry, we
Okay.
took a little break there. Oh, yeah, that's right. Brad question time.
Okay.
You ready? This is weird, and it's a little, whatever. You'll get it. It's not nearly as good as the ones you come up with, but this is from one of my favorite write-in shows, and it's definitely not like serious write-in ones, but this is from the Monday Morning Podcast. Okay. So, all right. Self-deprecating Brad. Hey, Brad. I can't keep from hating myself. I have like oppressive self-hatred, and no matter what I accomplish, some dark part of my brain is always going to shit on it. You'd think some insecurity would help push me to better myself, but this is too much and too severe to a severe degree. I can hardly function because of the resulting anxiety and stress. I have a feeling you can relate to this. I really went out on a limb here, especially since you are also a musician. Oh, I guess you can play the drums, so this fits you. Especially since you are a musician and shit on your playing ability as much as I do mine. And I was also hoping you could offer some advice on how you try to remain positive, if you even fucking do. Thanks, Merry Christmas. All right, Merry Christmas. Hope you have a good Christmas. Did you get that?
Yeah.
The transcript there was weird. I was reading a transcript from a podcast for people.
Right.
And so it's kind of hard to, yeah.
That's tough, dude. I can definitely relate. There's like a line between humility and then hating yourself. Because if someone's like, "Damn, dude, you did a good job on that," I'll be like, "No, it's not that good." You know. But I sort of take that as humility, and the fact that I credit most of any accomplishment that I might have, I'll definitely credit everyone around me before me. It's all them and not me. Like, they put me there. They're responsible for me doing that. I played the smallest part. But I don't know, and it's crazy, like, seeing some people's posts about anxiety and stuff. People are in such tough spots where some people can't even leave their fucking bedroom. Some people can't even get out of bed. It's so tough. And then some people say, like, I went to the store today, or I drove on the highway today. And that's like the biggest thing. It's like, holy shit, like, that's awesome that you did that you were able to fucking pull yourself together and do that, because I know how hard it is for you to do that. And the other thing with like anxiety or like looking into like depersonalization and stuff like that, like I did a while ago, where you're like so anxious and so stressed out and stuff that life just starts to feel like a dream, and it feels like you're like watching a movie, and like your body's not even your body because the anxiety is just like numbing you out. There's a whole thing with that. Where was I going with that? It's just, they say like you need to learn to live with it as opposed to getting rid of it. You're not going to get rid of it. You have to just learn to live with it. And it's to combat that. But just if you think like, I'm not going to get rid of this, I'm just going to have to learn to live with it, that's a big part of it. But it's just fucking tough, dude. But yeah, the self-hatred is rough, because I definitely have that. Of like, you're your own worst enemy. You fucking hate yourself. Everything just feels like a failure. It's just fail after fail after fail. And when you start voicing things like that, nobody wants to be around that person. No one wants to date that person, because you're just like a downer. You're just bringing it down. But, and nobody likes the person that's just like, oh, I'm so great. I'm better than everybody. I'm the shit. I'm the best. But it's good to have a little bit of that. And you also choose what you consume. So, like, what are you consuming as far as books, as far as podcasts, as far as music? Because listening to people like an Ice Cube or hip hop, it's all just about like, I'm the fucking man, I'm the shit, I'm the best, I'm the fucking guy. And that helps too when you have some of that. When it's like, oh, you ask that girl out, or you get that job, or you do that thing. And those are big things. And then after those big things, you feel, oh man, I'm the fucking bomb. When you're doing that like drive home from doing something great, and the music's blasting, and you're like, I'm the best. But those are big things. It's good if you're nowhere near close to doing those things, asking that girl out or getting that job. Start small. Like my boy Jordan Peterson says, like in his books and stuff like that. His whole thing is just make your bed in the morning. If you just make your bed in the morning, you're just starting with the tiniest little win. You just have to start with the tiniest little wins, and then there'll be like a snowball effect. And that's all just stuff on the like solution side, on the opposite of the equal sign. And as far as part of the problem is just the self-hatred and stuff like that. I can't stand, and I know Eric will disagree with me, but I cannot stand people who refuse to go to counseling. It's like a pet peeve for me. People who say, I'm not going to go, I have a thing, it's like a trigger for me. I have a thing when someone is in a conversation with me and they say, no, I'm not going to go to counseling. There's a huge wall that comes up with me where I'm just like, okay, then fuck you. Like, we can't keep talking about this. Because for me, that's like a huge thing. Because I think
Did I say something to that effect?
No, but people have said it to me. And if I would just assume about you that you would say something like that. But That's just an assumption. But
I have no problems with counselors.
because I've been talking to my buddy before who's like, I'm gonna get a divorce. Like, I'm divorcing her. I can't do it anymore. Like, we're done. We're getting a divorce. She wants to go to counseling, but I'm not gonna go. And it's like, okay, that obviously just means you're afraid of yourself. Like, you're afraid to look in the mirror.
Well, okay. I don't know anything about the situation, but I will say, like, if you're in a situation and you've made your mind up, if you don't want help, then why waste the money on a counselor? If he's already like, no, I'm done. Like, I don't even care what this person says. I'm done. I'm over it. Why even go to counseling? You know what I mean?
Well, maybe he's not really done. Maybe it's just people just talk a big game. I don't know.
Yeah. You get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
Like, there's something to be said. When someone's made up their mind, there's no, like...
Right.
There's no changing. You know what I mean? Like, you're not saving a relationship.
And that might have not been the best example to use, but I'm just saying to someone who's like, oh, I hate myself and have all this shit with them, maybe you should go and work out some of that self-hatred that you're dealing with.
I've gone to a counselor, and I fucking loved it. It was probably one of the most beneficial things I've ever done in my life, was just to have a third party.
Yeah.
I went right in high school and right out of high school, and, like, I thought the world was, I don't know, and then having a third party, I went for, like, X amount of time, and then to have him finally, like, kind of at the end, like, break down, like, tell me what he thought about my issues in my life and shit like that.
Yeah.
It was, like, the best thing ever to hear.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, oh, okay. And then I went out from that, like, oh, I'm good. You know what I mean? Oh, other people deal with this shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like, I didn't think, in high school, I didn't think everyone dealt with, like, the anxiety. You know what I mean? I thought I was, like, the 1%, and everyone else was, like, killing it. You know what I mean? He's like, no, you don't get it. Like, everyone's dealing with this shit. Like, you're good. And I was like, oh, I am good. Okay, sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, because you just think, like, say the whoever that wrote that, like, hates themselves and, oh, I can't do anything right. Instead of ending the thought process right there, why not? What I do is I take the thought process and then go, why did I just have that thought? Why did I just think, oh, I'm a piece of shit and I should die? What caused that thought to come? And then that's where you go to like a counselor or something and start being like, where are these things coming from, and not just accepting them at face value. So I do think it's valuable.
So it seemed to me, reading that, like he was kind of pushing more towards like not that in like life day to day like anxiety, and more like creative process anxiety. You know what I mean? That's what I pulled out of it. It was more to do with like music and art and shit like that. And like you'll do something and then you'll get done with it and you'll fucking be like, fuck, this is garbage. Why am I even doing this? You know what I mean? I'm such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I know how that goes.
Yeah. That is like, dude, with music, it's fucking, and I mean, I know you play drums, but with music, that is like such a pain in the ass. Like, to where you try and try and try and try, and just you feel like you're not getting anywhere. You know what I mean? Like, everything you do is garbage.
Yeah. Well, you have to somehow get to the thought of it's better than not doing it. Because if you don't do it, it's an automatic fail, I guess.
And that's where I try to get with like with this podcast and shit like that. Like I talk to people about shit, and it's like, you know, for years and years and years, I've done projects with people, music, podcast, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I've always been like super critical of what the product is and everything like that. And I am critical of products that I make, but I also, at the end of the day, like, especially in the last, I would say like this podcast is like, I really try to focus on, this is fun. You know what I mean? Like, this is fun. And I want to do this because I would rather be doing something and failing than not doing something at all. And the same with bands and stuff. Like, I try to, like, you know, we've had a rocky thing with the band, but it's like trying to explain that to them. It's like, dude, you guys got to get out of the mindset of trying to make money off this fucking thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I get, it's not that I don't want to. It's, you got to realize the competition you're up against and how you want to make money. And it's like, one, I want to argue against like musicians. It's like, you guys all need to get off the fucking trying to make fucking $500 a night playing bars. It's like, you got to realize the bar can't fucking pay you that. You know what I mean? They're not making the money, and you can't charge a cover charge. You know what I mean? Because then no one's going to come in. You have to do it. You know what I mean? You can't make your money that way. If you're so focused on money, you got to realize where the money's coming from. You need to kill it on YouTube and fucking TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, that's, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. So it's like, if we're going to play music, you got to like you got to just like enjoy that you're playing music. Do it for the love of music. Like, there's a fucking millions of people trying to do the same thing. If you really think you're going to be a Bieber, one, you better work your ass off then. And music better be day and fucking night for 5 years. You know what I mean? Like, to be better than everybody else. Yeah. But out of everyone I meet, they're not willing to put that in. So it's like, you know what I mean? Then it ends up in an argument. Well, it's like, I don't know. I enjoy it. This podcast, we could do better. You know what I mean? There's more time could be spent on it. And it's like, but we also have lives. Yeah. But I'm also not going to get like super self-deprecating about everything. It's like, at the end of the day, like I was talking to someone last night or the night before, and they're like, "Oh, blah, you know, not being negative about it, but a hint of negativity about it." And it's like, dude, I enjoy what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy this. Like, I have fun doing this. So it's that's 60% of what I'm gonna focus on is just having fun.
Yeah, that's a tough thing to remember.
And then a lot of not only that, then I also got to look at, like, there's a lot of good practice. Like, keeping this up, you know, is like, I look at my video editing shit. I'm happy. If I wasn't doing this show, I wouldn't week by week be using Premiere Pro. And to me, that's big. I want to learn that shit, and doing this week by week, even though I'm cheating and not diving in and learning a lot, I'm just keeping it up. I'm keeping the program up. And that makes me happy because I fucking love Premiere Pro. You know? Yeah.
You're just attaching yourself to the pros of it.
Yeah. Acknowledge the negatives. Acknowledge when things can get better. Don't like be a blind eye to it. But
you still recording?
Yeah, I'm still recording. That's what I just a little quick check over there.
Okay, it's tough. Therapy is awesome. It's like, and I don't know, I think it has a lot to do with what you consume. Some people, I feel like they just, I don't know, they go home and they just sit in silence and stare at the wall and be like, I want to fucking die. And it's like, man, put something on, put some music on, or some podcast or a movie, and like, or some sports, and like attach yourself to that shit. That's what I have done in the past. And one buddy once said, I want to kill myself. And I'm like, dude, you need to listen to more hip hop. Because I'm just saying like what would work for me. Like, put on some stuff that makes you feel good. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I would go back to what I was just saying, is create, no matter what it is. You know,
yeah, create, and then don't beat yourself up too much.
Not everyone's an artist, but I mean, as soon as I get depressed, dude, it goes into cleaning. Accomplish, you know, just do something. You got to turn off the TV. You got to stand up. You got to either start writing or read a book, you know, do something productive. Try to start learning something. I love cleaning. Cleaning is my fucking go-to if I'm depressed.
Yeah, me too.
Just start cleaning. And you can spend an hour where you're still in your head, like, going over shit while you're cleaning. But after a few hours and things are all getting organized and everything's clean, you just start feeling better, and you're moving, fucking getting the blood going.
Yeah. It feels like you have a purpose, which is why I feel like mental health wise, I'm better when on days that I work than days that I don't work.
Oh my God.
Because
100%.
I think it's just that
I feel great.
I think it's just that you feel that you have a purpose. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Work a lot of times, like especially construction, it sucks. You know, I get to work, I'm like, fucking cold, it's miserable, this job sucks balls. But end of the day, after everything, there's like, I get home and I feel fucking great. You know what I mean? I am in a good mood. Like, I've been out stretching, keeping my body in good shape. Like, I just feel good.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I accomplished some shit today.
Yeah, and that's what happens when people lose their jobs. And I think it happens especially for guys, because you start to feel like a purposeless piece of shit that's like a burden almost. And that's why you can't just be like, oh, we're just going to close down the country and that you're not going to have suicidal side effects of that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Faux show. Faux show. Did you like the Brad question?
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Figured I got to start. I got to bring something to the table.
Yeah. God.
What do you got? I got one more subject. What do you got going?
All right, I got something kind of big.
Lay it on me, big dog.
Okay, do you know, and this is going to be a clip, do you know who Hunter Moore is?
Nope.
Okay, I'm going to tell you about him. This is a small little corner of American history that probably not too many people know about, but a lot of people do. So, Hunter Moore, born March 9, 1986, is an American convicted criminal from Sacramento, California. A lot of this is just going to be from Wikipedia, but then a lot of it's also going to be created the revenge porn website Is Anyone Up? ? It's called Is Anyone Up? Which allowed users to post sexual and explicit photos of people online without their consent, often accompanied by personal information such as their names and addresses. He refused to take down pictures on request. Moore called himself a professional life ruiner. So this kid in 2010 created a website where you would go on and post pictures of like nudes of people other than yourself, right? And yeah, so Is Anyone Up was founded in late 2010 when founder Hunter Moore was 25. He stated that the idea for the site came from a woman who he continually asked to send him suggestive pictures. He then created a blog hosting nude photographs from anyone, and it eventually became isanyoneup.com. As of November 2011, the website was netting as much as $13,000 a month. Moore said that he spent generally 12 hours, 5 days a week managing posts, and that the website had over 30 million page views a month. So 30 million page views a month is a lot. I mean, I don't know if it sounds like a lot to people, but it's a lot. Submissions to the website usually followed the same formula, depicting a person's social networking website profile thumbnail, such as their Facebook or Twitter, then showing images of them clothed before revealing images of them naked. In some cases, images showed people engaging in sexual acts such as masturbation. And he kind of, it's like the website was very much like a emo scene like thing of like emo bands and like those like tattooed chicks with like the long black hair with the covered over their eyes. Like,
yeah, the hottest of groups of women. Yeah, I'm all about it.
Yeah, because it was like 2011, which I guess was like the end of like emo scene shit, but it was still out there. And he kind of looks like he's just like black hair, white kid, kind of tall with like the black skinny jeans. And like the guy wasn't really like the greatest person. He was really like a trashy piece of shit, right? But entertaining nonetheless. And yeah, so Hunter Moore stated that he took legal precautions before uploading images to the site, initially verifying the age of the people whose photographs were submitted through social networking sites. He sent the IP information of people who submitted photos of underage individuals to a lawyer in Las Vegas, who turned it over to law enforcement. Another category on the site was called Daily Hate, featuring angry reactions from people who had their pictures posted without their consent.
That's awesome.
The sending the IP information of people who submitted of underage individuals to a lawyer is pretty awesome, I think. Overall, though, kind of a terrible thing to do.
It is. And at one point in my life, I would have been, I don't know, I wouldn't really care, I think, now. And I might have been on there. You know, there was a few times, a few dick pics snuck out, you know, to some girls.
Jesus.
Fucking, Would you ever be in trouble for this?
Probably.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um, Many of the subjects were outraged by inclusion on the site, claiming the explicit photos had been hacked from their personal computers or shared with former boyfriends or girlfriends, and that the photos had been posted as a form of revenge. Because of this, the site's content became known as revenge porn. Moore reportedly responded to multiple cease and desist letters with simply LOL, and would regularly argue that the law protected his activities. In response to public bragging by Moore about the website, BBC named Moore the net's most hated man, and Rolling Stone called him the most hated man on the internet. Moore eventually faced numerous lawsuits and an FBI investigation. He was also stabbed in the shoulder with a pen by a woman who had been featured on the site. In April 2012, Moore sold the website to an anti-bullying group. He posted an open letter explaining his decision. Yeah, so I guess it started late 2010. April 2012, he sold it to an anti-bullying group. So that's not that long of a run. I mean, that's under 2 years, but it was... I remember hearing about it in summer 2011. I heard it on a podcast saying, oh, this website is hosting pictures of naked band members from like emo bands that like chicks would send to the website. But I probably went on there under 5 times, and I remember going on there and you could search like your state and see people that were posted from your state and shit like that. It was really strange. I mean, it's kind of, and I think he kind of just stumbled onto the whole thing, but it was just a crazy time. It was like the Wild West of the internet still. It wasn't so crazy and regulated and shit like that, I feel like. And he was really just, he would do these things on his Twitter account where he'd be like, girls would send him naked pictures and he would retweet them. Then the girl would get like thousands of followers and he would send them a t-shirt. So you'd just be scrolling down his Twitter account feed or whatever, and it'd just be, you know, naked girl after naked girl. And then he'd do really crazy things. He'd be like, you know, whoever can put the strangest thing in their vagina, like, go win, I'll give $1,000. And then he'd be retweeting all the pictures of that, and like all these really like degenerate, nasty things and shit like that. However, it was entertaining most of the time. I don't know. So Charlotte Laws, the mother of one of the victims on the site, decided to track Moore down and conducted a 2-year investigation where she compiled evidence from more than 40 victims and gave it to the FBI. And this lady, Charlotte Laws, is still to this day like this huge advocate, activist for revenge porn. It's called revenge porn because it's just not sent by the person in the picture. It's sent by somebody else.
So was there laws created after this for like...
Yeah, I'll get to that.
To where it's okay.
Yeah, because you'd think that'd be illegal anyway, right? Or maybe that's just our mindset today.
Yeah, what if you send like your buddy your ex's pictures? Is that illegal?
See, I have no idea. That's a good question. I don't know. He would always say, like, once you send the picture to someone else, it's like going as a gift, and now it's that person's property. He would say things like that, but it's like, is that actually the legal, you know?
I don't know. At one point in my life, I was offered money for a girl's pics that I had on my phone. I had a buddy that we were all drunk, and I was like, oh, no, I got an ex of mine. I was like, oh, no, I got a bunch of pictures on my phone of her. And he's like, what? He's like, I'll pay you for those. And I was like, yeah. And then I thought about it the next day. I'm like, yeah, I'm not fucking doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but mainly, maybe, I don't know, looking back at it, the thought process may have been, I was like, yeah, but she has a bunch of my dick pics. And so I was like, we'll just, keep this fucking, we both got collateral, we both have, some damage on each other. So we'll,
right.
I'll respect her pictures if she respects my pictures.
Jesus. So in 2012, Moore and a colleague hacker named Charles Evans were suspected of hacking-related crimes. The Wire stated that on multiple occasions, Moore paid Evans to break into the email accounts of victims and steal nude photos to post on the website isanyoneup.com. When it became apparent to Moore that news about his FBI investigation was beginning to surface to the public, Moore responded with, "I will literally fucking buy a first-class fucking plane ticket right now, eat an amazing meal, buy a gun in New York, and fucking kill whoever talked about my FBI investigation. I'm that pissed over it." Moore also threatened to burn down the Village Voice headquarters if they ran a story about his FBI investigation. They nevertheless ran the story. And he had his Twitter account was the main thing that I followed. I never really going to the website, but then he also started a podcast, and I listened to that a few times, which was really kind of bad. They were trying to do like a call-in show where all these people would call in, but wasn't that good to listen to. But they would talk about like music and stuff like that, and I don't know. It was just you're like this guy is crazy, and it'd always just be about like coke and ecstasy and getting drunk and just like the party never stops and just banging chicks. And he was going around DJing parties and like throwing parties, and these parties were just like debauchery. This is the last place you'd want your kid to be, at one of these parties. And he just tried to make it sound really appealing. And I don't know, I guess it did to young kids like me. Okay, so this is kind of weird and legalities. So in 2013, California became the first state to pass a bill specifically banning revenge porn, the act of posting nude photos or video for the explicit, malicious purpose of causing embarrassment or distress. Okay, revenge porn is the act of posting nude photographs or video, typically of an ex-girlfriend or spouse, online with malicious intent. Several websites popped up to host and facilitate this behavior, most notably isanyoneup, a popular revenge porn site with ties to the music scene, which shut down in 2012, though the site's founder, Hunter Moore, has since been subject to FBI investigations. Websites and their operators are, in general, unable to be held liable for content uploaded by other individuals under the Communications Decency Act of 1996. Though California doesn't specifically use the term revenge porn, it outlines the crime in its new bill as this. It says, any person who photographs or records by any means the image of the intimate body parts of another identifiable person, which circumstances where the parties agree or understand that the image shall remain private, and the person subsequently distributes the image taken with the intent to cause emotional distress, and the depicted person suffers serious emotional distress, is guilty of disorderly conduct and subject to that same punishment. So that's kind of weird. That's how the bill is worded. So with that wording, and in a seemingly huge oversight, the bill applies only to photographs and videos taken and distributed by the offender, but not to those taken or sent by a victim. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. In many instances, nude selfies sent out with reasonable expectation of privacy are more often likely to be subject to revenge porn, though discussion exists as to whether knowingly taken and digitally distributing suggestive photographs of oneself is an inherently risky endeavor. Activists leading the charge against revenge porn dismiss that argument as a form of victim blaming. Okay. Yeah, see, that's confusing shit. Additionally, the American Civil Liberties Union have raised concern over the bill's broad warning. So it's like legislation was passed, but people say it still wasn't worded right.
Okay.
On January 23, 2014, Moore was indicted in a federal court in California following his arrest by the FBI on charges of conspiracy, unauthorized access to a protected computer, and aggravated identity theft. Many of these crimes were committed in an effort to obtain nude images of people against their will. He was released 2 days later on a $100,000 bond. He was allowed no access to the internet, and required by law to dismantle the archives he owns for Is Anyone Up database while the FBI monitored him doing so. It's crazy that the FBI gets involved. In February 2015, he pled guilty to aggravated identity theft and aiding and abetting in the authorized access of a computer. In addition to mandatory prison sentence, he also agreed to a 3-year period of supervised probation, a $2,000 fine, and a $2,000 fine. He also received an order that he delete all the data on his computers. He was sentenced to 2.5 years in federal prison. And then the hacker that he paid to do that was sentenced to 7 years in 2015. So that's kind of weird that it got to a point where he started paying for people to hack other people's computers to get nudes. That's not
nutty.
That's really nutty. That's not how it started, you know. It started with submissions. Although submissions by angry exes. And you'd think that would just be illegal, but maybe that's just our mindset now, not our mindset 10 years ago, where it was kind of like the Wild West, like you can just post whatever you want to post. But I think it did ruin a lot of people's lives. Because, yeah. I don't know, it's a crazy thing. It's a crazy time.
Yeah, and people 10 years ago, I don't know, they just didn't have, I didn't have the idea, like, doing fucking pictures back and forth, you know, because 10 years ago that was like a brand new thing, you know what I mean? Your phones were just capable of doing it, you know what I mean? Fucking, I don't know, it didn't even dawn on you like the internet was gonna be what, I mean, it was big then, obviously, but it's just a different beast now, you know what I mean? Fucking,
or that like
now that's like obvious, you know, all this shit's obvious, like social media is obvious, like, but in, you know, 2007, I don't know, it wasn't obvious what it was going to be. 2008, 2009, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fucking,
it didn't seem like it would have like real world consequences, like jail time for something you posted on the internet.
Yeah, it was like, dude, I was on MySpace. You know what I mean? Like fucking, when Facebook came out, I was like, what the fuck's Facebook? You know, blah blah. And everyone's like, no, it's gonna be big. I'm like, fuck Facebook.
Yeah.
And then it fucking blew TF up.
Yeah. It's gonna rule the world.
It's crazy. I wish we talked about this last week off camera, and I wish I wouldn't have known because I was like enamored by this when you were talking about it with me. I was like, what? I hadn't heard any of this shit. Didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a crazy thing. I can't believe I'd never heard about it.
Yeah, and he was like on Dr. Drew, and he was on this Anderson Cooper show where they had 2 girls on there that were victims of, you know, the website, and they were like confronting him on there, and he's like, hey, look, you took the pictures, nobody put a gun to your head to take the fucking pictures. Like,
yeah, and that's, I don't really blame him for that shit. He just made a website, you know what I mean? He didn't take the pictures, and he didn't post the pictures, you know what I mean? Someone else did all this.
Yeah,
he just supplied the fucking, you know.
Yeah, he was like, you want to know the best way to not get your nudes posted online is to don't take them in the first place, and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's
a good argument. I mean, you can't argue with that argument. The best way for other people not to see your naked body in a picture is don't take pictures of your naked body. It seems like day one. You know, that's step one.
Yeah,
you can argue that the site's evil and shit like that, but
yeah.
The reality of it, if a picture of my dick was out in public, I'd be most mad at myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'd be like, I'm an idiot. You know what I mean?
True.
Like, I'm an idiot. Then the next person I'd be mad at is the ex-girlfriend who let that picture get out. Then she's number 2. And then my third frustration would be, where the site it's posted. But I wouldn't even, by the time I got to them being mad, I would have already wasted all my mad energy on myself and the person that posted the picture.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. But so if you ever hear the term like revenge porn, it basically stems from that site and that guy. But yeah, I think he just stumbled across it. Like a 25-year-old who just decided to make a blog and post people's nudes. And
isn't that how everything starts? You know what I mean? So Facebook started, right? Like fucking just this random thing that became way bigger than anyone thought it was going to be. You know
Yeah,
what I
it was
mean?
just supposed to be for Harvard, for a social networking site just for Harvard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so then but now it's like, like if a sex tape gets released, like someone's going to jail. Now someone's going to jail. Like you can't do that. So our thinking now is 100% like, oh, if something that's private gets released, someone's going to jail. But I guess it just hasn't always been that way. I don't know. It was craziness.
It's a crazy story. Never heard about it at all.
Yeah. So I guess he wouldn't have went to jail if he didn't just hack for the nudes. If he would have just been the host, maybe he wouldn't have gone to jail. And he's like, I still follow him on Instagram, and it's like now he says he's a part of some like new Netflix doc that's coming out. So I don't know.
Oh, they're gonna make a documentary about the whole thing. It's a good
Yeah,
story.
but it might. Yeah.
I didn't hear anything about this. I never knew anything about this.
Yeah. I was just active on social media, and I was just fucking following shit back then.
Yeah. Crazy story. Crazy story.
A little bit.
So, anything else you got on that?
No, I just haven't asked Beef's question. If you want to do it. Yeah.
Let's do this thing. President Trump's signature Sunday on the $2.3 trillion COVID-19 relief and government funding bill started a 180-day countdown of the Pentagon spy agencies to say what they know about UF motherfucking O's. Did you know anything about this?
I just saw the headline. I don't know anything else.
But you did hear about that?
Yeah, the headline, yeah.
The provision received very little attention, in part because it wasn't included in the text of the 5,593-page legislation. But as the committee comment attached to the annual Intelligence Authorization Act, which was rolled into a massive bill, the Senate Intelligence Committee, chaired by Senator Marcos Rubio, Republican Florida, said in a comment that it directs the Director of the National Intelligence, in consultation with the Secretary of Defense and the heads of such other agencies, to submit a report within 180 days of the date of the enactment of the act to the Congressional Intelligence and Armed Services Committees on Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon. I'm pretty excited. This is pretty cool. I'm like
scared.
all this alien talk went about.
That's
180
scary.
days, we're gonna get the fucking real scoop. We're gonna get the scoop on what's going down.
The dirt.
Yeah. What if they come out and they're like, I don't know what you guys are fucking talking about. You know what I mean? We've just been fracking down at Area 51. You guys keep fucking making up all these goddamn stories.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just like, we don't have anything. But no one will believe that shit. They'll be like, fucking conspiracy. Right. But what if it comes out, which it probably will, and they're just like, here's everything. Here's all these fucking aliens.
I don't think you can do that.
What if in 180 days an alien just comes out on TV and they're like, hey, this is Bob. He's been hanging out at, 3 stories down in the White House. Here he is, everybody. Here's Bob.
That'd be terrifying. And nobody's going to believe that either.
Yeah.
I don't think you can tell people. I don't think that the people can handle that.
I'm excited to see what happens.
Oh, God.
This alien thing is getting crazy because I don't know. A lot of people, you can say like the evidence is undeniable. You know what I mean? At this point.
Yeah.
Right? Like with the things that have come out in the last few years.
Like the Bob Lazar.
Like yeah, well that, and then didn't like 6 months ago the Pentagon released like 3 things of footage that fucking they're like,
Something
yeah,
that.
This is a UFO. Like this isn't any country that's doing this shit. And then they have the James Fravor guy that was on Rogan, that fucking aircraft pilot or whatever. His whole testimony.
We fucking love aliens, dude.
We do love aliens.
We love aliens. I don't think people can handle it though. I think it'll be like, max out your credit card and go looting. If you think that if aliens are here or have been here. I mean, I don't know.
It just doesn't. It just doesn't
scares
make
me.
sense to me why there would be a cover up. You know what I mean? That's the part that doesn't make sense. Is like, why cover the shit up?
Because people can't handle it. Because it'll throw all the religions out. All the religions would be wrong, and people would just go crazy.
It
said there was something that said like there's like 600 million planets in our galaxy, and there's also 600 million other galaxies, and it's like there's so much stuff out there.
Yeah, the odds mathematically, you can't deny that there's obviously life.
Yeah,
How complex that life is an argument.
right.
You know what I mean? But the odds, just in that, the odds are is that there is obviously equal intelligence out there. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
there's obviously something going on. There has to be. There has to be.
yeah.
At those numbers, yeah.
I think
Unless,
there's probably
unless
just
religion's right, and it's just us. You know.
There's
what
no
I mean?
way. There's no way it's just us with all that space, all those planets. I think there's just a water planet somewhere that's just water, and then all the life is under the water, like these crazy sea creatures that we never even realize.
Well, no,
like
we
mermaids.
know about a planet like that, right? I mean, I've heard someone talk about something like that. They're like, there's a planet that's like the closest to Earth's deal, but it's just all water.
Yeah, but then I think there's like civilizations in the water.
Well, yeah, like dolphins. Like, what would happen in dolphins in another, million years if people weren't like a thing? If it was all just underwater, where would dolphins be? They'd be fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Right, but it's not like dolphins. It's like stuff you can't even imagine. It's
what if it was dolphins? What if it was
like
dolphins?
Scorpion / dolphin / eagle / moose. It's like these crazy things.
Well, and then there's some shit about why can't Steve guy in the fucking wheelchair, Stephen Hawkins.
Yeah,
he like talks about it, and he's like, dude, there's gonna be fucking planets with like gases that are intelligent. You know what I mean? Like the possibilities are fucking endless.
Right.
Like you could have literally a whole planet of like gases. You know what I mean? That they're not like body entities. They're like a fucking gas that's like intelligent. Like the possibilities are endless.
Yeah, they are. It's fucked up.
But I would also think that it's gonna kind of be. Things are gonna kind of. I would assume they're gonna be not the same as they are on Earth, but you would see a lot of like, Fibonacci sequence type things, to where it's like things are gonna be relatively close. You know what I mean? Like,
to us.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
like it wouldn't be. Yeah, it would be like a different creature, but it would be like, hey, things would be symmetrical. You know what I mean? Like that kind of shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's just absolute speculation. No one knows. We haven't, other than maybe Bob down underneath fucking the White House. Maybe he knows.
We're not ready.
In 100. And when did that pass? That passed a week ago. So we're at like 172 days or something like that from knowing the truth, brother.
I'm not ready.
I'm ready. I'm ready for this shit.
Our brains aren't fucking big enough.
Yeah. Could you have invested in what's that company called? Pfizer?
Pfizer?
The fucking Pfizer?
Yeah.
Can you invest in that shit?
Oh, yeah.
Because I bet they just made a shitload of money. Sorry to change topics. I was just thinking about that. Like, man,
they
if
probably
you invested
did
in that shit.
Yeah.
You know that vaccine has to be kept at negative 97 degrees?
Yeah, that's fucking crazy.
That's really cold.
But then I thought that was like typical for vaccines like that or something.
Well, I was reading a whole thing about the other vaccines because America created, Pfizer's an American company. They created their vaccine, which is 98% effective or some shit like that. And it has to be kept at negative 97 degrees Fahrenheit. And then there's another company called, I don't have any of this in front of me, but I was reading it last night. Yeah, something like that. And they have one that's like 78% effective, and it has to be kept at negative 28 or some shit like that. And then there's other like socialist, kind of like Sweden and shit like that have come out with, but they're like in the 20% effective. Or
How's
some shit
everyone's
like that.
vaccine all finished at the same time?
I know, it's real weird. I don't know. I was reading a very pro-capitalist thing about it because they were saying like, it's funny that, a capitalist country comes out with the best fucking,
Right.
health. You know what I mean? That's what happens when you have the most money dumped into a fucking company. That's capitalist. They come up with the best product.
Yeah, you're able to
But,
have
you
a
know,
race
that's-
and a competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no one's bitching about it right now. You know what I
Dude.
mean? No one's bitching about free market. Not, everyone's so they're just like, yeah, we got it. No, no one's gonna complain about a vaccine.
The other thing about
time.
the other thing about aliens is that they say, like, in the history of the Earth, whenever a more technologically advanced group runs into a less technologically advanced group, that more technologically advanced group always either would like slaughter or enslave the less technologically advanced group. So that's the thing about aliens, is what you don't want to run into is a more technologically advanced group than us, because then we would be fucked.
Yeah, maybe we did in February of last year, and they just released COVID on us. They're just like, what if they're a bat? What if the fucking alien race is just bats? And they came down and they're like, hey,
That makes
fuck
sense.
you. Gave us COVID. Bam.
That makes sense.
An alien race of bats. And that's why in the COVID relief bill you have a fucking yeah. I'm blanking out.
They put in the bill to tell us about themselves.
Yeah. There we go. Sorry, I fucking just had a major brain fart there. But yeah, that's why it's all coming full circle now.
Would it be crazier? What would be crazier for them to be like, oh, this far away, somewhere we can't even get, there's an advanced race, or for them to be like, no, 100 years ago, the advanced race visited here and landed and talked to us and gave us this tech and then left?
What tech?
I don't know. Light bulbs?
Just tech in general. Like, here's a light bulb. There you go. See you later.
Or like they came and they met a bunch of monkeys here and they gave them shots that turned them into humans. Would that be crazier? Or for them to be like, yeah, right now, 1 billion miles away, there's an advanced thing out there. I don't know.
I don't know.
We're not going to get either. We're not going to get either of those things. We're not going to get anything. They're going to be like, yeah, we have nothing. That's what's going to be.
They're going to do that, or they're going to say something and no one's going to believe it.
Right now, there's interns. There's interns sitting in a bunker right now, shredding documents into a fucking shredder.
Yeah,
it's happening. Yeah, just file after file, and all those interns are going to mysteriously kill themselves in 160 days.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Well, that's all I got, buddy.
Okay, do you want to end it?
Do you want to end it?
I don't know. I feel like I kind of ran out of steam. All I have is the Ask Eric. I don't know if you want to do it.
Whatever you want to do, buddy.
Okay, we'll just do it then. It's a weird one. It's a weird one.
Okay.
You ready?
Lay it on me.
All right. Dear Ask Beeves, I am a physician and a widower. Most importantly, I'm the father of a brilliant and deeply inquisitive 12-year-old girl. I have raised my daughter by myself since she was 6 months old. We are very close. I noticed signs that she would soon be experiencing puberty, and I knew she would have lots of questions. I had a series of talks with her about things like hormones, body changes, romantic relationships, and safe sex. Before I started each of these conversations, I told her that if she was uncomfortable talking to her dad about this, I would be happy to arrange it so she could talk to her doctor, who is a woman, or any other of the wonderful women I have worked hard to have in her life. My daughter told me that she would rather talk to me about these personal things. I got a call from my daughter's health teacher at her school, furious that I had dared to discuss menstrual products with my child. The teacher called it tantamount to child abuse, that a male person had discussed these things with a 12-year-old. Amy, or Beeves, I know the information I gave my girl was correct, and I gave it to her as an objective. I gave it to her in as objective, non-sensational, and supportive way as I could. Was I out of line here? Should I have left this conversation to my daughter's pediatrician?
No, not at all. I feel kind of strongly about this, but in a different way. It wasn't the telling your kid about menstrual shit like that, but I don't know. A while ago, I was listening to an NPR thing about, and I just totally agreed with it, about talking to kids about like when you don't use the proper terminology for like body parts with children. You know what I mean? You make it a taboo thing, and it has huge consequences on kids later in life. When you have a little child and you hide like sex from them, you know what I hide like people won't even use the right terms for genitalia with a child. You know what I mean? And they'll just keep doing that and keep doing that. And then what you're doing to a child in formative years, I mean a little bit before puberty. I'm talking like 5, 6, 7. You know what I mean? To where like they won't even use vagina or penis, you know what I mean, as terminology, and then it becomes like a super taboo thing. And there's been a bunch of studies on it to where it's really negative on people. You know what I mean? It's like super negative on your development thing, because then that's where they're equating a lot of like ED problems and shit like that to that, because like men grow up and they have such a weird idea of sex. You know what I mean? It's such a taboo thing that they're so uncomfortable with it. And then same with like women, where it's a taboo fucking thing. You know what I mean? Just like everything's really taboo about it. And then I'd say the same thing with that, is I am like, I don't know. I feel like we should be way more open about sex and body parts and stuff like that. And being weird about it and being taboo about it's just creating like psychological problems with people. You know, I feel like I did growing up. I felt like it was such a taboo thing that once I started becoming like sexually active, and like I was so afraid. You know what I mean? One, I didn't know very much. You know, I had to like literally learn trial and error of like how female genitalia worked. You know what I mean? Like, am I getting way off? You're not happy with my? No, I don't. Yeah, I think that's really weird of the health teacher. Like, you know what I mean? Like, obviously the girl feels the most comfortable with her father. Right. That irritates me. That irritates me that a health teacher would like, fuck you. Like, it's not your kid. And to me, that's fucking weird that you're pushing this. You're making this negative. You know what I mean? Like, you're making this a negative fucking thing, and it's not. You know what I mean? You're making her feel weird now. You know what I mean? For her, like a normal, natural fucking thing that every woman fucking goes through. Like, I don't get that. Like, that's ridiculous.
But it's obviously better for like the mom to do it with a daughter, and a dad to do it.
I
with
mean,
the
if
kid.
it was a mom and daughters, or if it was a mom and dad situation where both people are there, it makes more sense.
Sure.
Because the woman's obviously dealt with it. A man's never fucking done. If I right now tried to give a speech to that with a girl going through puberty, I wouldn't really know. You know what I mean? It wasn't. What was it? 20 episodes ago, we didn't even know. You know the difference between. What I can't even remember that whole thing, but fucking
pads. How pads are used.
Yeah, how pads are used, but fucking yeah. You know what I mean? I literally don't understand that. I don't. Yeah, we've never dealt with it. So obviously, a woman talking to another woman is a better situation, but I think a man can get if that's ridiculous. Fuck that health teacher. I think you did it absolutely right.
Yeah. And that's tough. I mean, you got to think there's probably a lot of single moms out there with sons and a lot of single dads out there with daughters. And that just seems like a fucking tough hurdle to get over. But
yeah, again, like what I said is I think the fucking taboo shit about sex, puberty, all that shit is, I disagree with it. And I was definitely raised in a household where, I remember going through sex ed in the fucking 5th grade. 6th grade, something like that, and I came home and like said something to my mom, and she was fucking pissed because I like brought up a condom. I didn't understand what a condom was, and I was like, "What's a?" And she's like, "They're teaching you that in school? That's ridiculous," you know, blah blah blah. And she never even answered my question. You know what I mean? And like, I disagreed with the way my parents raised me in that sense. I don't think it should be taboo. And then you have to learn in such a weird way. You know what I mean? I had to learn in such an odd way what sex was. And then and especially nowadays, it's like you need to have fuck, dude. I'm friends with a few kids that are, 20, just turning 21, 20 years old, like in gaming, like through gaming. And I've asked them a few times, like, what's sex like? How did you, blah, blah, blah. And it's fucking bananas what these kids, one, think sex is and how their first sexual experiences. And it's like, one, just porn is like, most guys are learning through porn. And it's like, that's crazy. And I learned through porn, but it was like different. When I was fucking in the 6th grade, you found a fucking Playboy magazine out in the woods, that's like soaked in water. And you're like, whoa, bro. Like, and blah, blah, blah. Nowadays, dude, fuck that, dude. Like, you can't be learning about sex through a BDSM fucking website. You know what I mean? Like, that is not good. And like, and like talking to a few of these kids, it's just like, fuck, bro. Like, they're doing like, you know what I mean? Like, a woman feels like she's got to give this like slut blowjob at like 16. You know what I mean? It's like, that's so fucking weird. You know what I mean? Like my first blowjob was not like a porn at all. You know what I mean? Like, fucking, it was very like, every party involved was just like, what am I doing right? You know what I mean? And I didn't know what I was doing. I don't.
Every party involved, all three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like sex, puberty, all that shit should be way more open, and parents shouldn't be weird about talking about that with their kids. I mean, obviously, there's an age of like where sex isn't even like in their But that's where I'm saying, like, what I know this is a totally different subject, but I mean, I think even at a young age, using correct terminology is a big thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's when I was listening to that whole deal, that was their main point, is using vagina and penis, you know what I mean, with children, like with 5, 6, 7 years, you know what I mean? Like, when you use the wrong terminology for it, it's instantly instilling an idea of a taboo, and that, and you're just putting that in their head that you're not allowed to talk about this. This is bad. It makes it bad. It makes it like a bad thing. Yeah. Even though it's just a slight little thing you're doing, and just like no, we call everyone's pee-pee. You know what I mean? Or something like that. And it's like, no. Yeah, I don't know. I think the dad did it right. I think, he's the closest relationship out of that person.
And he offered to the kid, hey, if this is uncomfortable, we can have your doctor.
He did everything. He did everything correct.
Yeah,
absolutely. And also, we live in a day and age where he can probably do a little bit of research. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, there's probably a lot of fucking things out on the internet you can like read and like get some information before you talk to your daughter, or you know what I mean? Like, even though a man hasn't gone through it, he could probably get a good amount of information. Like,
that's true.
What do I need? Yeah,
it's going to be uncomfortable either way, right?
That's what I'm saying. Is why is it uncomfortable? That doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean?
But
like,
don't you feel like it would be?
Yeah, because that's how we were trained.
Right.
That's the lives we grew up in. Is that it's this weird thing, and it's fucking not. You know what I mean? Like, we make it weird. It's not a weird thing.
Yeah, we make it weird. Yeah, it's weird. Well, yeah, because it's weird it's weird for the kid. Because once you learn about it, you're like, wait, did you do this with mom? Like, you're like, it's like your whole world is like blown wide the fuck open, and it's weird.
Yeah, see, that's where like I disagree with. Like, it should be more open. I'm not saying you should be exposing your kid to like sex, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't think like Indians and shit dealt with sex the way we do. You know what I mean? And I also don't think like they dealt with any sexual ED issues and shit like that, and all like to where in our society it's this huge issue. You know what I mean, with like sexual disorders and shit like that. Well, what's like the common denominator here? You know what I mean? Well, we're making it a huge. To me, it makes like perfect sense. We're making this huge taboo fucking issue with sex and genitalia and shit like that. It fucks with people's heads. I can like legitimately look back at my childhood, look at how I was introduced to sex and what happened in those formative years, and I'm like, yeah, that wasn't good. Like, I wasn't raised properly with that. Like, my parents made it so fucking taboo and so weird that it created a bunch of fucking issues. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to hear what she said?
Yeah, let's hear it.
She said, this is just a part of what she said. She said, teachers are mandatory reporters, meaning that they must report any suspicion of child abuse. This teacher skirted this mandate by accusing you of doing something tantamount to child abuse, basically leveling a deeply offensive accusation without the benefit of due process. You are being bullied by your child's teacher for providing informed and accurate information to your own daughter. This teacher's contact with you was out of line and inappropriate, and the statement she made was sexist and obnoxious. You did the right thing. I hope you will continue to answer your daughter's questions about sex and relationships. If she isn't comfortable talking to you, the options you presented are perfect.
Boom. Yep.
Pretty easy. Yeah.
Nailed it.
Hell yeah. Well, buddy,
Episode 37 in the books.
we'll be back.
I hope you guys have a great week. We love all of you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Eric and Brad Show signing off.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.